So, hello everybody for today's first Lightroom processing video I'm doing. So what you're going to see is I've taken one of my most famous pictures I've published on 500 pics, and what I'm going to do is I will re-edit it. I don't know if it will look the same like this, like I've published, so I will really start from scratch, and I will explain how my workflow is going to be. First of all, I'm not following any theoretical stuff. All I do is I edit it like I think it is looking for me the best. So I'm not following any golden ratio rule or anything else. I'm not looking at the colors, so I'm not following like this must be that color, and so the other color must be this way because the theory is telling you this. I'm not going to do things like that. So what I'm going to show you is really how I am editing my photos, and I'm editing photos since I would say since 2 years, so it's not so much time. And during this time, I've altered my style a lot. So in the beginning, as I started with processing, everything looked a little bit awkward. So colors were totally emphasized, and as you are doing a lot of processing, you will see that you will re-alter photos a lot. So as I'm going through my library, I will catch often a photo I have edited 1 year ago, look at it and think, no, this is totally fail. So I'm going to rework it. And if you are doing this, it's a little bit for me. I'm a programmer in my profession, and it's a little bit like programming. So you start with coding, and after a while, when you go back to your code because somehow someone requests that you alter anything and you add a new feature, then you look at your code and you think, what the hell have I done there? And then you refactor it. And so for me, it's like with photos. So it happens often that I will publish a photo twice or three times because after a while I'm not satisfied with what I have done. Even though it could be perfect in terms of visuals, but your style is changing, and so you are re-altering it. And that's exactly what I'm doing now with this photo. So I think I have edited this photo the last time 3 or 4 months ago, and it was the second time actually I have altered it. And so what I'm going to do now is I will try to apply my current style. I don't know if you can call it style, but I have a favor in terms of colors and contrasts and profile of my camera. And so I'm going to do it this way. Uh, just a few background information. I'm a Fuji shooter, so I have three Fuji cams. One is the X100T. I started with photographing with this cam. Then I added the XT1 to my equipment, and with the XT1 a lot of lenses. So the first lens was the kit lens. That's obvious because it's the most it's the cheapest one. And after that, I recognized I'm shooting a lot, or I want to shoot a lot of landscapes, because landscapes for me is finding silence, and that's very important for me. So you can just sit down and enjoy the scenery and the ambient, and that's what I want to do with landscape photography. And so I've chosen to go for the ultra wide lens. And then I started to shoot macro because I had not much time, and so I wanted to have the possibility to just go out in front of my house and find good sceneries to shoot, and that's what macro is giving you, and you can even shoot at home. And afterwards, I switched over to people photography, so I've acquired the 56 lens, and then after that I have acquired the X Pro 2, and that's what I'm shooting now mostly. So, but A lot said, so I hope you're still alive and you're still watching the video. And let's go for it. So the first thing I will do is I will create a copy of this because I want to keep this edit. And what you can do is, oh, I'm always looking for it, so I create a virtual copy. So you can see here, there's the copy, and I will click now on reset. So this is actually the unprocessed photo. So if you look at this and look at that, then you can see how much possibilities the raw file is giving you in terms of processing. So if you are wondering why I'm already in the development module, so if you start here, that's the library from Lightroom. And what you can do is you can just select your photo and press D for develop, and then you will get into the development. So let's look at all the things you can do here. So what you can see is at the left side, there are the presets. So what I want to tell you is, yeah, presets are cool, but in my opinion, just ignore everything of it, because you don't get to know Lightroom if you are just clicking on the presets. So just think of the picture itself, and the workflow is pretty simple in Lightroom. So all you will do is, I have altered it a little bit, but in the beginning, all you can do is you can just walk down these panels to the bottom, and then your photo should be processed. That's it. So what I'm doing here now, as you can see, this is a shot I've taken in the Netherlands, and unfortunately I had not much time, and I have chosen um, an aperture of 8, I think. So if I look at G, what's the it is an 8 aperture, because I want to have a sharpness that's coming from the front. I want to have the sweet spot of the lens, so the aperture of 8 is always a compromise of this. And so I want to have it in the front sharp and in the back, but the downside of it is that the shutter speed was not so high. So if you zoom in, you can see the horses are not so sharp. But I mean, in the end, no one is looking so much into details here, so we will later even wash out the colors, because we want to simulate a kind of a sun ray coming in, and when the colors are washed out, you do not recognize the unsharpness here so much. So what you can see here is I have chosen here a natural frame. That's what I wanted to have. So I wanted to have the fence as a frame. I want to have the eye of the viewer going through the fence and over the riders and into the sun. That was my intention of it. And this is exactly how I will now alter photos. So when I alter photos, I'm always thinking of how do I want to control the eye of the viewers. This means right now it should go this way. So I'm now taking a mask. This means just click here on this. I don't know what it is. It's kind of a it's a wand. Okay, I can see. I have never recognized it. I'm always clicking just on the circle. I did not think of what it is actually, so it looks like a wand. So I'm clicking this, and now I'm going a little bit with my exposure, because I want to show you how I want to control the eyes of the viewer. And I want to let him go from the center through this, then to the sun, and afterwards, so headset just died, so I'm sorry for this. So what I wanted to show is going here for an exposure. So I'm going to lead the view into the sun, and afterwards the viewer can check for other details here in the photos. So let's just remove it and let's go for the very beginning. So what I'm always doing is I'm always going down with the highlights as much as possible, because as you can see here in the photo, I try to shoot for the sun, and this means that therefore you can just decrease all the highlights and get all the details here, what happened in the clouds. And I'm doing the same with the shadows, so I'm putting them all up. So that's the very first. This is the raw I'm starting to work with. So the next thing I'm doing is I'm blindly increasing the contrast to 20. I'm just doing it because I want to get the photo a little bit crisper, and so 20 is quite fine. So the next thing is I'm clicking Alt, going for the whites with my Alt key pressed, and then going for the right. And as you can see, there are some dots appearing. This means the exposure for this area now showing is too much. So you are just going at the point the first dots are coming. So this is a 5, and then you're doing the same with the blacks. So the blacks are, I will just leave it at 0 because later on I will. Okay, so this is now all I have done here. And now what I will do is I will leave the curve as it is, leave the colors as it is, and this is important for me. I really like it. I'm doing this with all my photos. I'm doing split toning, so as you can see in my photos, I always have a kind of a little bit of a magenta, a slight magenta. So in this photo it will be a little bit more, but if you check out others, you always get the feeling there's a small flavor of magenta in it. And so I'm doing this with the highlights. So I'm pushing the highlights in this color, and the shadows I'm always like it a little bit more blue. So you can see here, but we will correct it to the level we want to have it. So the other thing I'm always doing, and this is very important if you're a Fuji shooter. So as a Fuji shooter, you can put the details to the very right. So, and what I'm going to do is, I have now clicked on this icon here, and I want to have one part of the fence as a reference, how much I can sharpen the photo. So let's go for this one. And now, first we were going to mask. Masking means you tell Lightroom which edges of the photo it should sharpen. So you can just go with the Alt key pressed, then move the mask, and all I want to do is the most part should be for sharpening are the riders in the back, even though they are a little bit unsharpened, and just some small parts of the sand. So this looks okay for me. And now you can start moving the amount. And as you can see, it will alter, it will sharpen it. But you have to be very careful, because sharpening in Lightroom and as a Fuji shooter, you will see it a lot, is adding, can add halos to the edges. So I'm just pushing this to 50 because this is looking fine for me. Then I'm going to enable the profile corrections. So it's already giving me the option, but I don't think we have to do it because in a newer Lightroom, yeah, exactly. So what Fuji is doing, Fuji is giving you in the raw file already the lens profile. And the lens profile is already then is applied by Lightroom, and this means then the distortion and all the other chromatic aberration, for example, are erased based on the algorithm Fuji has been put into the raw file. This was not done in older Lightroom versions, so this is good. And then I'm just lazy, so I'm looking if the auto is fine. So the auto is not fine, so I'm going for the level, also not good. This is totally wrong. So what I'm doing is I will check now the, just a moment, going to, so I will now look if this is fine. Well, that's not what I wanted to do. So just let me look. So you can now check the lines. I can even I can even show a little bit more of this, but now I'm too lazy to do it. So normally you can just click on the angle and then you can, for example, just do something like this and you can see the photo is already aligned. So I don't know, I think when you click the auto, he's analyzing also the fences and is doing the average of transforming the photo, and that's why it's a little bit skewed. And now what's very important for me, I really love the classic Chrome profile. You won't have it, so you can buy the VSCO filters. I hate the VSCO filters, even though I bought them. Because everyone currently is using VSCO, so it's like a black. But I will apply the classic Chrome. And classic Chrome is washing out the colors a little bit. The photo is getting a lot of contrast, and and it's desaturated. So sometimes I'm giving back saturation because for me it's then too much. And that's it for the start. These are now all my global settings. So, and now if I have this, and if we compare it to the, it's before, it's the, let's just go for the, let's just do another copy of it and just reset it here. And if you can see here, so this is the original, and this is a little, this is more crisp, and you can see here the sun has more details, and it's a lot sharper. So what I will do now is I will now make adjustments here. That these are the last adjustments I'm doing, even though they are at the very top. I'm always doing them at the end, because after the split toning, the split toning would just make these settings obsolete if you are doing this in the beginning. So I'm doing these in the end. So what I'm doing, I'm adding a little bit of warmth in the photo. So I'm pushing it a little bit to the right and a little bit of magenta, So I will adjust it later too, but I just want to have a beginning. So that's a very good start. So as I am not working with Create World Filter because I have used the X100T there and just have took them to the dinner. So this is a shot I've taken while walking to the dinner. I want to have the clouds a little bit more dramatic, and you are doing this by choosing a gradiated filter and then doing it a little bit darker, just like this. And I'm always pushing it a little bit more here in the magenta and a little bit more in the blue. And then you can see the structures of the clouds are emphasized by darkening it. So what you could also do is now you could increase the contrast just to make it more dramatic. Let's do it for 30. But then you have to be careful because it's also getting a lot more darker if you are increasing the contrast. And you could also decrease the highlights. But let's do it like this. So this is actually looking very nice. And now let's take care of the sun. So the sun. So actually you have to think of what is what is light doing. If there's a lot of light at some point, then the color is washed out. And what does washed out means in terms of processing? It just means it's a kind of a little bit of desaturation, and the blacks are decreased a lot. So the area affected by sunlight is not so crisp anymore. So the contrast is lacking in this area. And this is exactly what we are going to do now. So first of all, I'm going to use a radial filter and doing it a little bit brighter. And I want to add warmth because I want to simulate sunlight. And then the important thing is, if you want to have a little bit of washed out, just increase the blacks. And you can see here that the colors are desaturated and it looks like there's a light going on the layer. So, and I will increase it here. So I want to have the sunlight going like it is coming through the fence. So I will now put it like this. So making it a little bit lighter, and I will push it a little bit more. Then it should be like this. Yeah. So what you can see is now, as you look here, I don't want to have it washed out at the top because we want to have it dramatic here. So I will select the radial filter once again and then click on brush and then keep the alt. And what I'm always doing is I will put it to 50 because then you can just go over it, go over it, go over it until it's removed. So I want to remove the masking. So I don't want to have it at the very top. I just want to have it here. And what's also strange, the sunlight would hit the fence at the back. So this fence would not be in. So if we remove it, this part would not be washed out because the sunlight is coming from the other side. So it's very unrealistic to be like this. So just remove the fence here, the layer here. So just wash over it. And at the edge it's fine because light will break at the edge and that's okay. So, but it's also here, so the shadow will come from this to that. So do it like this and wash. So same goes here. Put it away. So for the video I'm not doing it 100% perfect because I don't want to bore you with zooming in and zooming out and going for the edges. I just want to show the rudimental things. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So let's just look here. And it's a little bit too much, so just decrease it a little bit. And I don't like it at the top. This is not nice. I will do it like this. Just decrease it a little bit. So, but as you can see, I want to have it a little bit. So I want to have the warmth, and that's why I'm adding another. So I want to have the warmth going in the clouds, but what I will do is I will just remove it here. So this is fine now. So this is now, as you can see here, there's nothing, but here in the photo you can see it's like the light is coming really through the fence in the front. So I'm not satisfied with the blue, so I will make it even. So it's like this. Yeah, this is good. So, and what you can see is now the viewer is a little bit distracted by this really black, or this is very dark now. So the viewer will look at the photo. Yeah, he will see the sunlight, and but he is also distracted here by this really dark part coming from the right. So I will now choose another filter. It's a linear filter, and I will just try to brighten the right side a little bit up. And as you can see, it's looking a little bit awkward because now the warmth of the sun is here, but this is looking cold as ice. So I will also add a little bit warmth here so that you can have a slight, yeah, that's good. That's very nice. So I think we've been almost through. So what you can do now is you can see here this ship. That's a personal flavor. We could try to stamp it away. So sorry. When you stamp, always look that you make a clone or a heel. So a clone will just search the photo for another pattern that's almost similar and put it there. So exactly. So there's another small thing here. I hate it. I should have done this in Photoshop. I don't like to stamp in Lightroom because it's really bad implemented. Oh gosh, this is looking so fucking. Okay, so let's do it. That's not what I wanted to do. This is how you can select a lot of stems. This is also what you can do. So for example, if you have something like this, I always forget this shortcut. And then you can just press the Alt and then you mark and then everything is deleted. So, but now let's go for the stamping. So, can I just put it a little bit down? I don't think anyone will see this, but there are some people I know that are checking a photo. Yeah, so now it's gone. So the next thing I want to do, I want to darken a little bit the shadows, just accentual, because this is adding a little bit of dynamic to the photo. And so I'm now using my wand again, my mask tool, then put this to 0 except of the so let's do it like this, except to the right exposure. I'm doing just 0.5. I'm reducing the flow so I can go over it until I'm satisfied. So if you're wondering why I'm always right clicking, I just worked a lot with the Photoshop. I worked a lot in Photoshop, and so I'm always pressing Alt to change the structure. But in Lightroom, you just have to use the wheel scroll. So I want to emphasize the shadows here and there, and even though I have said it's distracting, I'm doing here the structures also. So let's start. So I'm now following this one. I'm going over to this. So emphasizing this and this one. This. Going like this. So it's pretty easy. So just go for this one. Even though you can say that this will not, if you just look during during doing it, you will think, why am I doing this? Because it's not having so much effect. It's just so little. But in the end, if you are looking at the before and after, this will make a difference because it's adding a lot of dynamic to the photo if you if you do it like this. So I'm always doing it here. Then I think I will have to increase the light here a little bit, because that's also distracting, looking at and then see this black. Let's do it afterwards. Doing it here, doing it. Just do it at some parts you think that should be a little bit darker. So, and then let's just. So this is how it was in the beginning. I'm just showing you. So there's nothing, but this is adding now a little bit of dynamic. So, and what I'm doing now is I'm just going over it and try to remove a little bit of the edging. So here, 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 doing it like this. This is looking awkward. So okay, just if you press O, you can always see where you masked it. So going over here. So this could be this and this and this and this, yeah, and this and this, this and this and this. Go for this. Press O. Then this looks awesome. Now let's go just this. Not satisfied here, so a little bit away. This is always a play around. So you will erase, you will paint it again, you will erase, you will paint it again until you are satisfied. So this is just nice. So as you can see here, this looks a little bit in terms of colors, looks a little bit different. So I'm also doing it a little bit warmer. Yeah, now it's coming. It's too much. So, okay. And what we can do, we can try to add a little bit more dynamic to it. But dynamic, it's called vibrance here. Always be careful using this, because colors are really getting bad. Just a little bit. So, and what I'm doing now, I want to. So let's see if this is working. I just want to make this a little bit brighter, because it's distracting the view. Oh, it's working. Okay. Oh. So the more you work with Lightroom, the slower it gets. So I don't know if Photoshop would not be better for doing things like this, but I like to do it in Lightroom because it's easy. You can just follow the workflow. And in Lightroom I would have to make a new layer, then mask it, then play around. Ugh. I'm not a fan of Photoshop. What did I say, Lightroom? Oh, I don't know. So it's a little bit lighter. You can see it's better now. So if you check here and go for that one. So this is really nice. So let me just check what I have also edited here. Oh god. I think this is too much. So today I would think this is too much. At the time I edited it, I thought this is fine. And even though this photo was really, really popular, so, but I would not do it like this anymore. So let's go back to my new edit. Yes. Let's just check something. No. So what I've done here is the tone curve, and this is in the beginning you think, oh my gosh, what's this? But it's pretty easy. You just say these are the these are the darkest points in your photo, these are the lightest points in your photo. And what we will do is you will just say that, for example, here, the darkest points of your photos are just pushed. So this means all the dark points are now lighter. And if you do here, so this would mean if you put it down, all the light points would be darker. So you can see it in the photo. So, I mean, working here with these slides can be the same like working here, but it's getting a little bit more interesting if you are using curves. So for example, you just want to, let's have this part of the photo being pushed and that's this part being a little bit darker. And you can do this, you can try out. And what's also possible is just click this point here, go on the photo, and then you can see. So for example, if you want to have this, all these tones here should be lighter, then select it with a point and just keep your finger pressed and go up. Then you can see how your photo is getting altered. So just flatten the curve. I do not want to work with this now. So what's also nice, what you can do is, so I want to have the orange being a little bit more vibrant, so being a little bit lighter, brighter, I mean. And then I do the same. I just go into the point, then I select the orange, and I just want to increase the light, the luminance of the color a little bit here. So go back. No, I don't like it. I don't like it. Go back. I think I will saturate a little bit orange. Just like this. Yeah. So saturation works the same like luminance. It means just more colorful. So I'm still not satisfied with this. I don't know. Should it be more magenta? This looks cheesy. This looks more realistic. This looks half realistic, half cheesy. I would go like this. I mean, it looks fine now. The photo is really, so if you check this is the before, this is the after, before, after. So let's just check the sunlight here once again. I just want to see. So I don't know if this is fine. I think I will have to add what I have removed. So just go like this. Just remove it a little bit. Yeah. Just like this. Yeah. So, and in my opinion, there's the eye of the viewer is not so much control. So I would now make this a little bit more brighter, just a little bit. So, and lead it there. Go into this. Yeah. Yeah, this is good. Just here. A little bit away. So now the eye is getting controlled from this point here, going and then there. So, and what you could do, and this is just a small hint, so you can just add some points of light somewhere. Don't do it too much, just a little bit. This will also add a little bit of dynamic to your photo, so maybe just to this point, and then you can add it here. And what you can do, you can copy points by pressing Command and Alt and just click on it and drag it out. Click on it and drag it out. So here one light, then you have here one. You just see the light because I'm altering it now. If you check out the photo after the processing, you won't really recognize these light points. They are just like in the scenery. So if you look at the photo now, I would now spend a lot of more time in dodging and burning, but in the I think you can. This could be published. This is looking fine. So I hope you liked the video. It's my first one, so please write in the comments if I was too boring, if I talked too much. But I will do the next time a black and white edit. And I love black and white photos, and what you can do with black and white, in my opinion, is a lot nicer than with working in colors, because you will compress everything to the structures and then you work with the structures. And that's, for me, it's cooler than working with colors. So enjoy the rest of the day, and bye bye.